LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't predict the future, but it can help you feel confident about future hires. Because Hiring Pro combines real-time insights and candidate data from the LinkedIn network with the criteria you've set for your role to deliver you a list of top-fit candidates. Businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
But you know, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. One only remembers to turn on the light.
It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to your enemies, but a great deal more to stand up to your friends.
The ones that love us never really leave us.
Working hard is important, but there's something that matters: believing in yourself. If they can do it, why not us?
Hey everyone, welcome to Hogwarts, a podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hogwarts, a podcast. We are covering Tales of Beedle the Bard, Babbity Rabbity, and her Cackling Stump. What a title. Mollie is back with us.
Hello!
It's been a minute since you've been on.
It has.
Mollie, for those wondering, took some time off during our Cursed Child episodes.
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
I can't get into them.
That's fair. It is an acquired taste for some Harry Potter fans.
Yeah. I started it. I gave it a chance, but once we got to the trolley lady...
That's fair.
I couldn't do it.
That's fair. I cannot blame you for that, because I did the same when I first read it. We are happy to have you back, and talking about one of the more interesting titles from Tales of Beedle the Bard. And we do have a comment towards the end of it from the author herself, about her first thoughts when she learned she had to write an actual story for this title that she just so casually had Ron to drop in the books. So that'll be interesting to get to as well. But before we get to the actual story, we do have a couple comments from Grant. Grant's first comment is from Half-Blood Prince, Mollie's favorite book.
I love that book.
Chapter 24, Sectum Sempra. Grant says, "Ugh, I hate this scene. But honestly, do you guys think that Harry had this coming? Sure, the textbook was helping him get through potions, but to use spells without knowing what they do? Also, Snape might have been a bullied kid, but inventing a spell that literally cuts you like a sword is really not cool. Snape is not a redeemable character. Honestly, this bathroom incident should have gotten Harry expelled." What do we think?
I have to agree with you, Grant. I hate that scene. Harry is smart enough to know to just not drop a spell that he doesn't know the outcome with.
I think he really should have tried this in the room of requirement first. Like all of these spells, you know how they had the dummies just appear or whatever?
Right.
Try the spell there first, see what it does. That being said, I think it's a really interesting scene because, one, Harry, as a teenage boy, finally, I think, realizes that his actions have consequences. Because I don't obviously think he intended to do that kind of damage to Malfoy. He intended to do some.
I agree with that.
But not that kind of damage.
Yeah.
And I think he learned a lesson that day. And that's valuable. I mean, obviously, you hope that no one else gets hurt when you're trying to learn things, but it's also magic. And that's why Madame Pomfrey has a job. Things happen.
Yes.
Should he have been expelled? Yeah, probably. But it's Harry. So you're not going to get expelled. I actually think it's a really interesting scene. For a lot of those same reasons, is you're getting a lot of character points from a lot of... And you become more sympathetic towards Malfoy.
You do. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's maybe one of the first scenes you get where you're like, do I feel bad for Draco now? Like, it's a lot of interesting character things going on in that scene.
Definitely. And I mean, the thing with Snape, too, is, I mean, he's not, and that's, I think, the main attraction to him. He's not a black and white character. He's very gray, and, you know, and we can't forget either that he was very into the dark arts. So
that's true. For
him to explore that does not surprise me. But, it's still just like a gut-wrenching scene, and
this spell probably did help ingratiate him in with the Death Eater crowd.
Yeah.
When they saw this spell in action, they're like, ooh.
Right.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. This guy knows his stuff, man.
Yeah. Like, that's threatening. That's dangerous. That fits in with what we're about.
Right.
So it probably actually helped him fit in to the crowd he was trying to fit into.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's an important spell for Snape.
Yeah.
But anyway, we will transfer from Sectum Sempra and a spell that cuts you open with severe bleeding to the Burrow.
Yay!
Left a comment on Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 3, the Burrow. One of Mollie's favorite places.
It is my favorite, for sure. I want to live there. Just give me the Burrow.
All of the gnomes.
All of the gnomes. Yes.
Cursing at you as you boot them out of the yard.
I mean, they can come in and have tea with me.
There you go. Okay, I like it.
Yep.
So Grant says, so the general consensus is that the Weasleys added rooms on top of each other as their family grew. But why didn't they just put an extension charm on the house? We've seen this done to a tent, Hermione's beaded bag. Newt Scamander had a whole zoo in his briefcase, even in the room of requirement. Was it cheaper on the mortgage to just add more rooms? Do wizards even pay a mortgage?
Valid question.
Valid questions. I would imagine they'd have to pay for the land, some way, somehow.
Right.
What you do on that land, I believe, would be up to you.
But then we have to think, too, because, like, if you do anything to your house, like, even in the U.S., like, on certain areas, you have to have people come out and, like, look at your property and make sure you're not hitting water lines. And
that's true. But
historical houses have rules.
Yes. But wouldn't you think it would be advantageous if a wizard just had, like, a box? But you go into that box, and it is a, like, mansion all of a sudden. That would be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you'd hide it from muggles, per se. Because, like, why does Bob down the street, who doesn't seem to work for a living, have, like, this palatial estate? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like... So
I mean, even the Burrow, like, if I feel like if a muggle came upon the Burrow, they'd be like, what is up with this house? What is going on? I mean,
how is it still standing?
Right? I mean, I love it because I think it adds character.
Yeah.
Like, heck yeah, that'd be my house, you know? Like, well, we had another child, so let's just add this room on top of the other.
I think the answer, if I'm being honest, I think the answer here is these wizarding homes fit the wizard that's building them. I think if you look at the Weasleys, it fits. The Burrow just fits.
It does.
If you look at Xenophilius and the house that we get with him, it fits. If we look at the Malfoys and their palatial estate with their, white peacocks they have or whatever, it fits them.
Their muggle neighbor. What is up with these peacocks?
Yeah, where'd they get those from? So, like, I think they're just designed, the homes themselves are designed to just fit those personalities and fit the people living in them the best and show, like you said, that flair of character, that pop of personality.
I mean, but do they pay a mortgage?
That's a great question.
Right?
They're always talking about the Weasleys' financial issues, right? Mm-hmm. Is that just food for the family that they're having trouble supplying? Or is it that they are paying some sort of mortgage payment?
On their multiple room floored house?
But if it's only like a plot of land that's like 20 by 20, and they just keep stacking on top.
Yeah.
Is that a way to circumvent it? Which is what his question really is. And the answer is, I have no idea.
It's fun to think about.
But in times like these, I would try to circumvent it too, because mortgage is crazy expensive.
Absolutely.
So, thank you for the mind-bending question, Grant. Continuing through Chamber of Secrets, he has a comment on Chapter 5, The Whomping Willow. Grant says, I think Harry and Ron should have been cut just a little slack. I mean, they were just trying to get to school, right? Also, if this happened in 2012 instead of 1992, I can see Arthur using this incident as an argument why the Weasleys need cell phones. I can perfectly picture Mollie screaming on the phone like, Ronald Weasley, you bring that bloody car back right now.
It probably would have been helpful.
Wouldn't it be great if you could transpose their, like, grandfather clock that they have with all of the, like, destinations and statuses, but onto their, like, cell phone clock?
Yeah, like an app?
Yeah, like, wouldn't that be great?
That'd be sweet.
That'd be such a cool app.
That'd be awesome.
I just have the image of Arthur being that dad texting who doesn't exactly know what he's doing or typing. Yep. So you get a random, like, just blur of emojis that don't make sense, or just sentence fragments, or just randomness.
Yeah.
I could see Arthur being that parent.
Oh, 100%.
But I love the idea of them using cell phones. As far as they should be cut a little slack, yes. However, they did run afoul of a pretty significant wizarding law. Actually, two, because Arthur is supposed to alert him, because he's the Office of Misuse of Muggle Artifacts. He's supposed to alert himself that a Muggle artifact is being misused. So there's two big laws that they're really exposing here. The secrecy one being massive, because it's not just over the Highlands of Scotland where maybe a small village of shepherds saw you. No. You did this in London and then across the countryside. A lot of people probably saw a flying car. So that's a lot of work for the Obliviators. I'm sure the Obliviators were like, oh yeah, that kid got expelled, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they didn't? What? I had to work for like 2 weeks straight to fix that.
That's a lot of work.
I could just imagine it being a real drain.
Oh.
The complaints, and that's why really Fudge turned on Harry, is just he was tired of getting all the complaints from his employees being like, why are we cleaning up all these messes?
I would agree.
From this kid. But anyway.
Yeah.
Another good comment from you, Grant. Thanks for commenting as always. And if you are listening and want to comment, you can leave a comment on any of our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube. All of our socials are found at HogwartsAPod. You can also leave a comment on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this episode. And if you're listening on Spotify, if you scroll down, there's a poll there as well that you could participate in. And they are up for a very, very long time. So please, if you've missed one, go back and participate in that poll. We love seeing those results.
We do. And it gives us things to talk about, like wizard mortgages.
Wizard mortgages. I did not have that on a bingo card when I started this podcast. But no. There we are.
Yeah.
You know what else I didn't have on my bingo card when starting this podcast was talking about Babbity Rabbity.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Or her cackling stump.
Yeah, right.
But here we are.
Yeah.
So let's get into the actual story from Beedle the Bard. And it begins as all fairy tales seem to do. A long time ago, in a galaxy far... Oh, my bad. That was Star Wars. My bad. A long time ago, in a far-off land, lived a foolish king who decided he alone should have the power of magic. So the head of his army formed a brigade of witch hunters with ferocious black hounds like Mollie's Odin.
Oh yeah, he's terrifying. Not at all. He's terrified of most things.
Proclamations were made in every village, wanted by the king, an instructor in magic, which seems contradictory. No one obviously volunteered out of fear because the witch hunters. However, there was a charlatan with no actual magic that did volunteer for this position.
Yeah.
After a few simple tricks, the charlatan was appointed Grand Sorcerer-in-Chief, the king's private magic master. The charlatan was given gold to purchase things like wands and other magical necessities, several large rubies in which to cast curative charms, and a silver chalice, or two, for storing potions. So, when I read this intro, I don't know about you, Molly, but I thought immediately to, like, a Vegas magician. Like, is this Penn or Teller?
Right.
Like, which one is it? Or is it like just a regular card person? Like a little, like, sleight of hand?
That seems more like the case. Like, because I thought of, like, just somebody, like, traveling around, like, trying to just dupe people out of money, you know?
Oh, so you're thinking like those like 3-card.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
hide it under a cup and move it around and,
Right.
oh, it's gone.
Right.
Kind of games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it interesting that this person is referred to as nothing other than the charlatan throughout this entire story.
No name.
Nope, just the charlatan. And what a fanciful word charlatan is.
Right.
What's not a fancy name is Babbity. An old woman named Babbity was living in a hovel on the edge of the grounds and was watching the charlatan do these simple tricks. She saw him snap 2 twigs from nearby trees. One was given to the king as a wand of tremendous power, which will only work when the king is worthy of it. Super convenient. They would practice with these wands while the charlatan continued his tricks to keep the king's confidence. And one day, Babbity saw them waving, hopping, and rhyming randomly, and began to laugh so hard she was too weak to stand. Wounded by this laughter and impatient for results, the king decides, I am going to invite the court to watch him do magic tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Look, I get it. From the charlatan's perspective, I think I have a sweet gig here. This king does not seem to be the brightest bulb in the box. So I think I can get some easy gold. I think I can just get by. And the line about, like, look, this wand is only gonna work when you're worthy of it. And when you're worthy of it, I'm going to be 3 towns away at least by that point.
Spending my gold.
Yeah. Like, I get it. The charlatan says, well, wait, if you're wanting to do this tomorrow, I forgot to tell you, I have to go on a journey and it has to be tomorrow.
I'm going out of town.
Yeah. The king threatens the charlatan with the witch hunters if he attempts to leave. Also, by the way, if anybody laughs at me during my performance, you'll be beheaded. So if you leave, you're in trouble. If you stay, you're probably in trouble. At least that's what the charlatan is thinking, like, I'm doomed.
Either way.
I have no out. The charlatan, afraid and angry, approaches Babbity to vent his anger because she's the one that screwed this up for him. Like, why would you laugh at my magic lessons? While he went over to Babbity, the charlatan sees her polishing an actual wand while the sheets are washing themselves behind her. The charlatan threatens Babbity that if she fails to help him teach the king magic, I'll denounce you as a witch and you'll be hunted. Babbity smiles and assures him that she will indeed help. She'd hide in a bush and perform the king's spells for him. However, she does ask a pertinent question. What happens if he tries to attempt something that I cannot do? And the charlatan's response is, please, I'm sure your magical skills are far greater than his imagination. You'll be fine. If that's not foreboding and foreshadowing, I don't know what is.
No, that's definitely leading.
She sets the table for, like, oh, something's going to go terribly wrong here.
Right.
But yeah, some threats are thrown about. The next day, the king climbs onto a large stage with his court around him, waiting to see the king do magic. And he starts pretty simply. He tries to make this lady's hat disappear. Naturally, Babbity, capable, vanishes the hat. Next, I'll make this horse fly. And Babby's like, okay, interesting. I think I could do this. Does it. And the horse levitates. However, this is interesting because they actually do show an illustration. I don't know if it shows it in your edition.
Oh, it might.
In my edition of the book, it shows an illustration of the horse flying, which seems to be upside down.
Yeah.
It actually almost makes me think of Levicorpus.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's not just using Wingardium Leviosa.
Right.
Which I think is the intention here. I think that's what she's supposed to be using.
Right. Well, that's what I thought.
Right.
Yeah.
But then and that's what I thought until I look at the illustration and it's flipped upside down with like hooves in the air, and it made me just think of Snape getting flipped up in the air upside down.
Oh, yeah. I can see
with
that.
the like robes hanging down and
right.
you know, whatever. the true origin of Levicorpus. I don't think that's true. I think it's supposed to be Wingardium, but
Yeah.
the illustration just made me think
Yeah.
that it was something a little bit more maybe nefarious behind Babbity.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll have to see.
So she does accomplish the first two tasks, vanishing a hat and making a horse fly or levitate. At this point, the king is searching for his next trick. What can I possibly do? And the captain of the witch hunters says Saber, one of their larger hounds, died this morning by eating a poisonous toadstool. Please, sir, can you bring Saber back to life? And naturally, the king, without any thought or question, is like, absolutely, let me try. Let me wave this twig around. And Babbity remained still, for no spell can raise the dead. The crowd began to laugh at the king, suspecting that his first two tricks were just merely tricks. Those same cheap card tricks or the scams that you see on the side of the road that Molly and I were talking about.
Right.
Oh, yeah, those are easily explainable. You just, whatever. Some trick of the eye.
Right.
The king turns very angry and addresses the charlatan, who then points out Babbity in the bush, claiming that she is blocking the king's true magic. I do like at least the first two attempts here of real magic, because I think they're easy to accomplish. They're easy to come up with.
Oh, yeah.
They're like really easy examples. And then it jumps to like 10.
Right.
Like making a hat vanish is one thing, and then making a horse levitate a couple feet off the ground, fine. And then you're trying to bring something back from the dead.
It's a big leap.
Like, if this king was at all clever or whatever, you could just make the excuse of like, hey, hat's easy for me. This is a real difficult thing.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
He's got to check his ego.
He's not the greatest king in the world.
Yeah.
So, after getting called out, Babbity flees and eventually vanishes from sight. The hounds that were following her ended up stopping, barking at a bent and aged tree. The charlatan says that she has turned into a tree and it must be cut down, for that is what you do to witches.
Which makes me totally think of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, if you've ever seen that, where they have the whole witch scene, you know?
You know what? Actually, now that you mention that, so insight to Molly and I pre-discussing this, and we're like, man, what story or what thing does this kind of remind you of? Because we have the Warlock's Harry Heart, which has some Beauty and the Beast things, or I said the Wizard in the Hopping Pot reminds me of Encanto.
Yeah.
And we were like, what does this really remind us of? And we're like, nah, nothing really. Doesn't really spark any inspiration. And then now you just mentioning Monty Python, that actually tracks. Because this king could be right out of Monty Python.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I could totally buy this. And the charlatan, like, I bet you this does have some inspiration from
influence.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. By the way, all of their chainmail in Monty Python is actually knitted in spray painted silver if you look at it close enough. You will never be able to unsee that.
You can come here for knitting facts with Molly. I did not know that.
Yes. If you look closely enough, and then you will never be able to unsee it, and you will laugh every single time.
But yes, now that you mention it, that's what this story is.
Great stuff there.
I can't not see the King and the Charlatan being played by Monty Python people. Anyway, so you must cut this witch in half. You must cut this tree in half. That's the way to do it, right? Well, they do it, and then they try to make their return to the palace until they hear a loud cackling coming from the stump that they left behind. Fools! No witch or wizard can be killed by being cut in half. If you don't believe me, cut the Grand Sorcerer in two. And the charlatan's like, whoa! This escalated quickly. I was totally willing to just randomly kill an old lady. I, however, am not willing to die. So he confesses all of his wicked tricks that he has fooled the king with, and is thusly taken straight to the dungeons. while the Stump cackled even louder. The Stump continues, cutting a witch in half has unleashed a dreadful curse upon your kingdom. Every harm you inflict upon another witch or wizard will feel like an axe stroke in your own side until you wish to die of it. The king, hearing this, immediately issues a proclamation to protect witches and wizards and allow them to practice magic in peace. And the Stump, not done. She is tripling down on this. She's like, I got him right where I want him. You will also erect a statue of dear old Babbity. Upon me, this lowly Stump, in memory of your poor washerwoman, and to remind you of your own foolishness. And the king agrees. Once everyone left, an old rabbit emerges from underneath the Stump with a wand clamped between the teeth and hops out of the grounds and far away. That is the story of Babbity Rabbity and her cackling Stump. Molly, what'd you think of Babbity Rabbity and the cackling Stump?
I liked it. I could see that being a good fairy tale for young wizards learning lessons about magic.
It certainly returned to form over the horrifying Warlock's Harry Hart story that was like such a departure from the normal fairy tale that you tell kids. This is like, oh, I could see this being a story you get back on track with.
Right.
It's okay. It's all right. It's not my favorite of the stories. So far, I think I have Fountain of Fair Fortune as my favorite.
Your favorite, yeah.
And I think I was most surprised in a positive way by The Wizard and the Hopping Pot, because I didn't expect much from The Wizard and the Hopping Pot.
Well, the title.
Yeah, but I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was horrified by the Warlock's Harry Hart. Horrified, I guess in a good way, because it was such a shock to the system that I was like, ooh, this is different. Mm-hmm. And I respect the big swing.
Yeah.
This one, I'm like, it's fine.
I like it. I can identify with Babbity here. Just being a witch in her little hovel doing laundry. Fun fact about me, I really like to do laundry. So
you would be this king's washerwoman?
Heck yeah, I would.
Especially if you could just do it by magic
right.
all the time.
Heck yeah.
Just sit there doing your thing in peace.
Oh, yeah, the smell of fresh laundry going in my house every day, no one bothering me. I'm all about the introverted aspect of being in a little hovel doing laundry all day, being left alone. I
do like the story a lot better, though, now having the idea of Monty Python in my head, though. Yeah. It does add a layer to it that I actually kind of like. So
well, I'm glad I could provide that for you, because that's all I could think of.
Well, you did have some interesting comments, too, because you listened to the audio version of Tales, right? Or at least some of them?
Yeah.
And I have not. I've just purely read from the book, and you were saying some interesting stuff about some of the recordings.
Yeah, it's really well done. Jude Law does all the Dumbledore parts of it.
I would listen to Jude Law.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Do anything, really, but this would be very interesting.
Yeah, Warwick Davis does one. The girl that played Ginny, Bonnie, she read the Babbity Rabbity story. They have sound effects in them too, so you might have to, like, if you're not like a sound effects person, you might have to get over that. But no, they're fun.
I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know they've done the audiobooks for the main series, obviously, and I know they've just redone the audiobooks, which are a big thing.
Yeah, I haven't listened to them yet, but I've heard they're phenomenal.
I would listen to Jude Law talk Dumbledore.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
With that, we will actually get to Dumbledore's part. We will take a little break, and we will be right back with not Jude Law doing the Dumbledore's commentary, but you're stuck with Molly and I, so we'll be right back. Before we get to our break sound, I'd like to acknowledge our friend Andy, who helps us produce our intros and our break sounds. If you want to hear more of Andy's work and like Formula One racing, check out the Outlap F1 podcast. It's your one-stop shop for Formula One news, insights, race previews, and reviews. You can find them wherever you listen to podcasts, and they even have a YouTube page. So check out Andy and Cody and join them on the Outlap.
Experience a membership that backs what you're building with American Express Business Platinum. Unlock over $3,500 in business and travel value annually with statement credits on select purchases from brands like Dell, Hilton, and Adobe, and other benefits. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Based on total potential value of statement credits on select purchases and other benefits, enrollments required, monthly and other limits and terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
All right, so we are back with part 2 of this episode, and we're getting into Dumbledore's commentary on Babbity, Rabbity, and her cackling Stump. And I cannot wait to hear what the great Albus Dumbledore has to say about Babbity, Rabbity. And the first thing Dumbledore says is, this is actually the most real of Beedle's tales, which might blow people's minds. But he says that it's real in that it actually conforms to magical laws pretty accurately for the most part. And it's how many witches and wizards first learned that you cannot bring back the dead. Pretty fundamental law that you should be aware of pretty early on. That's an actual learning thing that Babbity Rabbity actually presents, which is kind of cool. Dumbledore goes on to say that 6 centuries have actually passed since the writing of this tale, and there is still no way of uniting the soul and body once death has occurred. They go into a footnote where wizarding photos and portraits move and talk like their subjects. The Mirror of Erised can obviously reveal a static image. Ghosts are transparent, moving, talking, and thinking versions of actual witches and wizards who wished to remain on Earth. But none of those things are actually truly living anymore, which is a big difference to establish.
Well, the portraits one really made me think too.
I think it was in Cursed Child where they dropped this little nugget about McGonagall having to really check herself with the Dumbledore portrait. Of being like, it's not really him. Yeah. It's a version of him, or it's a shell of him. It's not him exactly.
That's such a McGonagall moment. Like, that's such a McGonagall thing.
It must be hard, like, especially if you work and live with someone and you respect them so much. Right. Their careers were so long. Right. So to be with that person every day, and then you can still technically have a conversation. Yeah. But it's not really that person. It's like a visage of that person or something like that. Yeah. It must be mind-bending when you first encounter it. Right. Like when she probably first walked in that head mistress's office at that point and saw the portrait and he's like, hi. Yeah. She must have been like, what is going on? like I know, but wow, that's hard.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But it is interesting to note that it's been 6 centuries since the writing of this tale and still nothing has really been developed or invented. And I just wonder how many witches and wizards have tried and what like Frankenstein experiments have been done. Yeah. To try to do it.
It's terrifying. Like just let the dead be dead.
Like, can you imagine how many witches and wizards must be like, okay, body, ghost of that person. Ugh. How can we like? Yeah. I'm sure that experiment probably took place in this wizarding world.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm sure there were probably horrific results. But
yes,
wizarding philosopher, I'm just going to go with Bertrand. In his book, A Study into the Possibility of Reversing the Actual and Metaphysical Effects of Natural Death with particular regard to reintegration of essence and matter. Woo! Molly, we're both in a medical field. And we've read medical studies.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this title.
That is in depth.
A study into the possibility of reversing the actual and metaphysical effects of natural death with particular regard to reintegration of essence and matter. Yep. All of that for the quote that Dumbledore pulls here, which is, give it up, it's never going to happen.
I love it. Straight to the point.
Really appreciate the comedic writing of this long, intense academic title for just, it ain't gonna happen.
Never
just
gonna happen.
Don't even try. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yep.
Love it. Could you imagine if that was in one of our studies? It's like, we want to try this new rehab technique. And they're just like, nah, it doesn't work. Don't do it.
I think that would be great. I think that would really solve me having...
Just right at the top where they have that like little background summary thing.
Right, yeah.
Just be like, yeah, don't even bother.
Because there's so many times I read those things and they're like, well, it could work, but it also couldn't work. And I'm like, what did I get out of this? Nothing.
Yep. Welcome to our world of medical studies.
Yep.
Dumbledore continues on with some fun facts about Babbity, in that this story is one of the earliest accounts of an animagus. Animagi actually make up a small fraction of the wizarding population, and obviously the Ministry of Magic, which we know requires registry of individuals due to possibly dodgy reasons. If you're trying to become an animagus, it's usually to hide or conceal yourself. Why would you be trying to hide or conceal yourself? Clearly you're doing something indiscreet or dodgy or criminal in nature. Clearly issues.
You can't be an introvert at all.
No.
In this scenario. You just have to be dodgy and up to something.
That being said, it is probably a good idea for them to register these things as thoroughly as they could, I suppose.
Yes.
The footnote in here is interesting, though. It's one that McGonagall wanted particularly added. And McGonagall wanted to clarify that she is an animagus due to her proficiency in her research into all forms of transfiguration and has never used it once for any shady purposes, other than for the Order of the Phoenix and those missions.
I felt like that was an odd thing to throw in there.
I like the McGonagall thing because, I mean, McGonagall is one of our more prominent animagus. Although we never really see it as much.
No.
You see it, like, I guess, once in Sorcerer's Stone.
Right.
And you see it once in Prisoner of Azkaban. And that's literally pretty much all you see of McGonagall's tabby cat.
Yeah, I thought it was a very odd thing just to randomly throw in there.
I don't love except for, well, I guess Order of the Phoenix is a known organization at this point.
Right.
It's a known organization.
For sure. Especially, like, with the winning of the...
Yeah.
You know, I get that. But, like, I don't know.
she is registered. So, I mean, she is a known animagus.
Right.
Like, everybody knows. So, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was a very odd, like, side note. Like,
it's a more comedic thing when he's going, like, full academic.
Yeah. I could see that.
You know, these books, again, are supposed to be taken from the Hogwarts library.
Right.
And, like, republished for Muggle population. So you have, like, these notes of Madam Pince being like, are you really going to allow Muggles to read all this magic? And
yeah.
And so I guess this is McGonagall's little 2 cents of, like, if the whole world is reading this, I just want it on the record that I am an upstanding, law-abiding individual.
Okay.
I guess that's the point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it probably doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But I love that anyway. Give me McGonagall. My question here is, because McGonagall says it was her interests in the boundaries of transfiguration that led her to becoming an animagus, right? She was so into the weeds on what transfiguration is and what it's about that she's like, I need to experience all of transfiguration, so I'm going to become an animagus. That makes sense.
Oh, 100%.
Totally buy that.
Yes.
My question then is, Albus Dumbledore is the predominant wizard of his time. He was also a transfiguration teacher. You would think, especially with all of these academic conversations going on with him and Grindelwald and all of these elaborate things that he's reading about the boundaries, the limits of transfiguration, you would think he would have dabbled in becoming an animagus.
Possibly, yeah.
Mike, I guess you could argue the point of, like, maybe he can transform himself in some way, shape, or form well enough to not have to do that, because becoming an animagus takes commitment and effort over a long period of time.
Oh, it's a really complicated process.
Yeah, so maybe he didn't want to devote the time to do that.
Right.
But you would think, being the academic that he is and being so proficient in transfiguration.
Right. Well, he's also very skilled in disillusionment, so you would think
maybe he doesn't need the animagus thing to hide or something like that.
Maybe.
I get it, but it just got me thinking, like, okay, McGonagall, this totally makes sense that she would be this into Transfiguration, that she's like, no, I need to experience all of it.
Right.
Why wouldn't Dumbledore do the same? And if he did, my question to you, Mollie, is, if he was an animagus, what would his animagus be?
That's a really good question. I've been thinking about that, like, all week. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, thinking about it all week. And that's the lamest answer ever. The best I can think of is maybe a phoenix.
Yeah. Phoenix is the safe answer.
Right.
I feel like, just because it's so tied to his family.
Right.
And, you know, him and Fawkes have that relationship.
But if he has Fawkes, like, and that's where I'm like, okay, well, then what else could he be? Because, like, if he has Fawkes, what do you think? I've been dying to hear your answer.
Yeah. I don't have... Again, the first thing you always jump to is Phoenix.
Right.
However, I'm going to choose that... I think his Patronus actually is a Phoenix.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure his Patronus is a Phoenix. So if his Patronus is a Phoenix, then we're just going to write that off as like, there's your Phoenix tie. Let's do something different.
Right.
So if Albus Dumbledore can turn into an animagus... Let's just talk this out, okay?
All right. Well, his brother would definitely be a goat.
100%, yeah. Although I think his Patronus is also a goat.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, we're doubling down on the Aberforth goat thing.
Right.
And Albus is with phoenixes, which,
okay.
I mean, come on. If you're like...
Right.
If you're Aberforth, you're like, really? A phoenix, man? You had to just one-up me that much, huh?
Right.
Phoenix? Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
What if it was switched? What if Albus
became the goat?
Became a goat, and then Aberforth became the phoenix.
And then I could just imagine, which would be great, because then I could just imagine Aberforth swooping down as a phoenix and just picking up the goat, Albus, and like transporting him somewhere else. Can you imagine just Albus just baaing at random passerbys? Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I was going to say, like, Dumbledore. Characteristics of Dumbledore that would translate. Old. Wise. Crooked nose. That would lead me to believe, and hear me out on it,
okay,
elephant. Old, wise, crooked nose, trunk.
I could see it.
Huh? For the record, for all the people that just like groaned listening to this, and I know you did. I don't believe that for a second. So don't get ahead of me here on the comments, all right? I don't believe Albus Dumbledore's animagus would truly be an elephant. I'm just throwing something out there.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's probably a phoenix. It would probably be a phoenix.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, with Albus and his proficiency in Transfiguration, how could he not have attempted this at some point?
I mean, my only counter argument to that is, I mean, he had so many interests, you know. Eventually, and I mean, I know he's a talented wizard, but I think you at least get to a point where it's like, all right, pick a lane, you know?
You know what? I'm sticking with the elephant. You know what? I'm going to double down on the elephant. Old, wise, crooked nose, trunk, and powerful. I'm going to go with the elephant, okay? Let us know what you think Albus's actual animagus may have been if he chose that path. Anyway, let's continue with his breakdown of Babbity Rabbity. Beedle possibly modeled the character of Babbity on a famous French sorceress, Lisette de Lapine, who was convicted of witchcraft in 1422. Lisette vanished from her cell, and guards ended up being tried for helping Lisette to escape. But a large white rabbit was seen sailing across the English Channel in a cauldron with a little sail fitted to it.
I love this image.
That is adorable.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know, but I want to be friends with her.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Just because of her choice in transportation.
If she's a witch, you think she could have figured out a better way of getting across the English Channel than in a tiny cauldron as a rabbit.
But, I mean, if you can, why wouldn't you?
Does a sail really help at that point? Like, does the sail make all that much of a difference?
I think it does.
Unless
Dan.
it's a magical sail.
I think it does.
Okay. Like a magical wind maybe puffing the sail in the right direction?
Yeah. I mean, if you could sail in a tiny cauldron with a
No, I would not.
I
You
would.
clearly would.
There's probably like protection charms around
I wouldn't
it.
even try that in a tiny lake, let alone the English Channel. But anyway,
I'll do me.
I admire the effort and the image. The image is great.
It is.
A similar rabbit then became a trusted advisor on the court of King Henry VI. Footnote, possibly contributing to Henry VI's reputation for mental instability.
Again, I love this.
Okay, so you have a rabbit on your court that's advising you. So you go up to your other court members and are like, hey, we're doing this. And they're like, okay, but how did you come to that decision? The bunny told me.
I love it. I love everything about it.
Okay.
I'd be like, yes, dude. I'm following your advice. I'm all about you.
Fair enough. The king in the story both covets and fears magic. And there have been intensive studies in the Department of Mysteries as far back as 1672 saying that witches and wizards are born and not created. The rogue ability to perform magic may be due to a witch or wizard somewhere on the family tree. That alludes to Muggle-borns, where your parents might not be specifically magical, but I bet you there's a witch or wizard somewhere in your family line. Muggles, this is a very point-blank sentence. No, like, fluff in this sentence at all. Muggles cannot perform magic, period.
We can't.
Straight into the point. Random wand discharges do not count. So if a Muggle randomly picked up a wand and it had a latent bit of magic either in itself, in the wand, because wands are generally magical, or from the witch or wizard it was with, if it happened to discharge magic, that does not count as the Muggle doing it. It was the wand that did it. That also goes back into our tales of Harry Potter with the wand moving of its own accord to strike Voldy. It's like, sometimes wands do their own thing.
Yeah.
So there's that. And they point to the tale of the three brothers, which we will be getting to shortly here, and notes of wand lore in that tale for more info. So look forward to that.
Oh, that's going to be super fascinating.
It is going to be cool.
I can't wait to listen to that episode.
So Beedle frequently notes how ignorant the Muggle King is. He makes a point of that many, many times, and that's, again, what kind of led us to our thoughts of Monty Python. But in Animagus, speaking may be used as more of a poetic license in this story, or just simply a mistake, and maybe Beedle never actually met someone who is a true Animagus. Animagi do not retain power of human speech when they transform, although they keep human thinking and reasoning. That's different, and we've talked about it a couple of times now on the podcast, but it's different from being transfigured into an animal, because transfigured animals do not know magic and are unaware that they've ever been a wizard.
Which is terrifying.
It is. And they need help transfiguring back. They can't do it themselves.
That is absolutely terrifying.
Again, for reference, and I know we've brought this up a million times, and you know what? Every time it comes up naturally, I'm going to bring it up again. When Draco was transformed into a ferret, he became a ferret.
Yeah.
Like an actual ferret who had no idea who Draco Malfoy was.
I feel like this should be an unforgivable curse.
Yeah, it would be a problem.
Right.
It would be a real big problem.
Like somebody just walking up to you and all of a sudden your whole life, like, you don't even know.
But it also goes back to, like, remember in Goblet of Fire when Crumb tried to transfigure himself into a shark?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he only half did it.
Right.
But he also did the top half. He did his head.
Right.
How does that work? Because if he did the head, would
Good
he lose
point.
all of his consciousness
Right.
of, like, humanity?
Right. So then why didn't he, like, rip apart Hermione?
Or any of
Right.
those people at the bottom? Or just a random mer person.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
if he became, like, a true shark,
Right.
and then, I believe he could go, like, how would he even know where to go or who to even get if
Right.
he loses all of his humanity?
He'd just be floating around in the lake.
And then I get someone would be able to transfigure him back at the end of the task and be like, okay, well,
Right.
done. I do remember them saying how difficult it was. Like, it's a difficult piece of magic. And I guess the cop-out is he didn't do it perfectly.
Yeah.
He didn't do it really well.
Right.
So maybe that's the cop-out?
Yeah. I don't know. It seems sketchy.
Or, like, how shark-like did he get? Did he go full Maui? Like, was he, like... That's a Moana reference for anybody that didn't get it. Did he go full Maui, where he's, like, top half shark, bottom half human? Or did he just get, like, some teeth, some gills, and kind of a pointed nose? Which he already had, because he had a hooked nose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. Yeah, because the movie shows his whole head becoming a shark, but we don't know in the books.
To the extent of it.
Right.
Right. I'm just saying.
I'm still laughing at Maui.
We're full of Disney references here at
Yeah.
Hogwarts Pod.
Yep.
But no, I'm just wondering, like, if this is true, and if Draco did really become a true ferret who had no concept of witches and wizards and whatever, then how would Crumb's transformation have affected him?
No, it's a good point.
So I did just thoughts to ponder as we're talking Harry Potter.
Yes.
Lastly, Dumbledore points to the fact that in Beedle's time, in his time while he was writing these tales, the Cruciatus Curse was not illegal yet. And the production of pain that's described by Babbity, when Babbity threatens the king, like that axe-type feeling when you harm a witch or wizard in your side, so painful that you'd want to, like, die from it at some point. That could be the pain that Beedle is describing, a Cruciatus Curse.
Right.
Which is, well, Babbity Rabbity just took a turn
Yeah,
suddenly.
yeah.
That got dark real quick.
Right.
I mean, maybe she's just planning this coup from, like, the very beginning. Like,
Right.
It's just, she's playing a long game. Mm-hmm. So, you know, whatever.
Right.
She clearly planned the statue bit, unless she threw that in randomly, like, hey, I'm doing well here. I might as well just throw in a statue. Anyway, unforgivable curses were labeled unforgivable in the year 1717. So still a long time before the events of Harry Potter take place. So, I mean, it's still a long time. But interesting that we get the Cruciatus Curse potentially being alluded to. And we get the fun fact of when they were labeled unforgivable. Yeah. Which I think is a really neat fun fact to end Dumbledore's commentary on.
Yeah.
And per Dumbledore, a very uplifting fact. To be like, hey, wait, could she have actually been a dark wizard trying to torture kings into giving up their kingdoms? Next time on Dumbledore's commentary.
Right.
No,
I couldn't help to but think about, like, Professor Binns with all of this. Just because of, like, the history of, like, witches and wizards. And I was thinking about, like, how the one witch got, like, addicted to being burned at the stake.
Yeah. So, like, this is a thing that I could never understand with Harry. Like, Ron, I get. Ron, I totally get.
Right.
Because he's born into it. He can get bored by all of that. All those details and whatever. But Harry has no excuse. I, being the muggle that I am fascinated by all of this Dumbledore's commentary in Tales of the Beedle of the Bard. I'm fascinated when we get to Quidditch Through the Ages and all of the broom lore and the wizarding sport that's discussed there. And Fantastic Beasts is self-explanatory why I would be interested in that. It's awesome. So I would be like, no, give me all of this.
Right.
Like, I would be the Hermione. Hermione makes a lot of sense to me.
Yes.
Like, just give me all that info because it's so fascinating. I never knew any of this existed. And there's this whole other world happening. Mm-hmm. Whole other alternative world of history happening that's fascinating. Granted, I'm also older, and I have a much greater appreciation for just history in general. Like, now, I would love to go back and do a history class from high school or from college because I'd appreciate it more and I'd devote more of my time and energy into learning a little bit more of the nuances and the little details. When I was in high school and when I was in college, I was like, I guess I could buzz through this assignment or skip ahead or whatever.
You also have a lot going on during that age.
Yeah.
Like you said.
I get it. I get it. But if you're coming from a Muggle perspective like Hermione or Harry, how could you not be at least intrigued by all of this?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It might be a testament to just how boring Bins might actually be.
I think that's really what it is.
Probably. Before we wrap it up here, I did want to get to our author's comments on Babbity Rabbity. And I don't mean Beedle, I mean JK. JK had some interesting comments about Babbity Rabbity and her cackling stump. She said in an interview, quote, Babbity Rabbity and her cackling stump is the stupidest title ever written by man or beast. And of course, when I wrote it, I had not at that point, when I gave Ron that title, imagined for a second that I was actually going to write that story. And I did have this kind of margin of time when I could have, where I knew I was going to write Beedle the Bard and the book wasn't published and we were still editing, I could have gone back and changed this title. And I really like the idea of keeping those titles and then finding out what those stories were, which makes sense from an author. But Babbity Rabbity was a challenge. But I did get there, and it's a story about revenge. One witch's sort of cunning way of revenging herself from persecution, from Muggle persecution. I actually really like this comment from JK, acknowledging that the title is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And when she was told that she had to now make up a story for this stupid title, she was like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
How am I going to come up with this? And I also like her as a writer being like, well, the other stories, I kind of like the challenge of being like, here's the title. How do I write a story for it? How am I challenging my creative process to come up with something for it? Mm-hmm. So I kind of like that little insight to an author's mind, just from a creative standpoint.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. And, honestly, I like the title because there's some weird titles for children's books out there. That's true. So, my son has one that's The Grumpy Monkey, There's a bunch of different weird titles.
She made it fit. Obviously the character being named Babbity, check.
Right.
Becomes a rabbit, Rabbity, check.
Exactly.
And then a cackling stump is a feature of the thing. Mm-hmm. That's fine. She made it work, so I give her credit for that. But
it's an interesting exercise as a writer, I'm sure.
It was really nice to see this comment from her and be like, okay, I wasn't crazy for thinking that this was weird.
Right.
Like, the idea of it, and maybe it not being the best of the stories. Here, she's kind of admitting to like, hey, look, I tried my best here, okay? This is weird. I kind of was forced into it. I took the challenge. She did good. She did well.
Yeah.
But maybe not the strongest of the stories in Tales of Beedle the Bard, at least in my opinion. We will wrap it up here, and we will be back soon with The Tale of the Three Brothers, which is a fantastic story. Obviously, we're familiar with it from Deathly Hallows, but we'll dive deeper into the actual story soon on the next episode. If you have any comments or anything that you would like to tell us about your thoughts on Dumbledore's Animagus or your thoughts on Babbity Rabbity as a whole, let us know by commenting on our social media at Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube. You can find us at HogwartsAPod. You can leave a comment on the episode on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this and participate in those polls. So with that, we will wrap it up. Thank you for listening. We'll be back soon.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Hogwarts, a podcast. If you like what you've heard, please click the subscribe button on your preferred podcasting app and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Hogwarts a Pod.